I started to listen to myself and I started to see my own symptoms as signals rather than something to just be cured and taken away, right? This is me crying out for a change. Now, the way I can show up in life is truly in a way where I honor myself, I honor my body, my mind, my soul, so I don't feel like I have to force myself to fit into any sort of boundaries or systemic expectations until our bodies can feel safe. Even those positive emotions that we think we crave, like new opportunities and joy, those states of expandedness can actually feel unsafe for the body. Because when the body is so used to certain frequencies, certain way of being, that chaos sometimes can feel like comfort. The more my intuitive channels opened, so I was able to also access abilities that I didn't even know I had before. This is something that only opened up after I started doing this body work, because again, when we are more regulated, our body feels safe, all our channels are in alignment, we might discover gifts that we didn't even know were there.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you've ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation. Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast. My name's Sophia from Sacred You, but with me today, I have a very special guest, Daria, who's tuning in. And welcome, Daria. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting to be a part of this.
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation because you're a somatic manifestation coach who help individuals connect with their inner wisdom and activate their power, their self-healing power through embodiment practices. I'd love to know more, and even our conversation about where the map ends, all things like that, would really want to know more. But can we start off, Daria, first of all, tell us about you and what first led you to explore this somatic path of transformation?
Yeah, so I have to start at the very beginning of my journey around health and wellness to get to the somatic part. So I'll begin there, which is why I've always had an interest in helping people. So that's why I went down the psychology route at first. That's the degree I did. And then I went into doing the mental health work and then even working in a prison. So I very much at first, when you're young, you get given the map of, okay, if you want to become a professional in helping people, this is what you do. So it was very much, here's the map, you follow, you do this degree, you do that master's, you do that doctorate, and then you become a certain speciality person that then goes and helps people in one way. So I started following that route because back then, again, there wasn't many other options open to me. So I delved into that. I spent years within that space, within the traditional, more systemic mental health space and addiction support and recovery, and doing all the more traditional approaches as following the system guidelines pretty much. And I think after a long while, I realized that the impact I really wanted to have wasn't happening. I felt that there were so many barriers and challenges that stood in the way. And I kept trying to trust the systems and the processes and the approaches, but I just knew deep down in my soul that there was just a lot more to be learned in a different way that maybe the system wasn't offering. And it was actually through my own health decline where I had just a complete breakdown, to be honest, from with my own mental health, my own physical health, where just working in the systems completely took a toll on me. Like the expectations, the working patterns, the actual environment, the lack of support that I felt. It just all took, I basically burnt out. Like I completely overwhelmed myself. I had a huge breakdown, and I know I'm not the only one. I've been seeing this so much lately. So many of these professionals similar to myself going through the same journey. And yeah, it was during this sort of complete breakdown that I started to look into other work because I had tried the traditional therapy approaches. I tried talking therapies, I had like CBT, psychoanalysis, like all these things to try and help myself. I've been on medication too for my own mental health. And again, it was like I knew deep down that there was a lot more and there was a different way. Like I didn't need to be just on these traditional pathways that weren't quite helping me, is what I felt. So that's where I first came across work around trauma and somatic work. And as soon as I started reading into that, I started reading the books, I was like, this makes sense. This is what it sounds like to me. Like it just landed so much, and my own body started to remember how it actually felt. I started to listen to myself and I started to see my own symptoms as signals rather than something to just be cured and taken away. So rather than the traditional way of trying to instantly get rid of it, I was like, this is me crying out for a change. So I started really going with that flow rather than trying to have a quick fix like everyone else in the system used to tell you to do. Yeah, that's how I landed in that space. And it just completely shifted my journey. It shifted my own healing and wellness journey. And that's what I now am so passionate about and I now bring because it's something I personally went through. So I've tried the traditional routes, I worked in the traditional routes, and then I was like, my whole new world just opened up to me as soon as I started exploring the body. And also, along with that, came the more spiritual aspect as well. So, yeah, long story short, that's how I landed there pretty much.
Isn't it amazing how the body actually tells us?
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. First of all, thank you for sharing. And I really like to honor you for sharing that and for bringing your wisdom, your lived wisdom to the world, because so many people go down a similar path to you, but aren't able to realize our body is actually trying to tell us something rather than suppressing everything with medication.
Hmm.
What the traditional, as you've experienced, world does. You've got a problem, you've got a symptom, let's give you some drugs. It doesn't take away the cause of it.
Yeah.
And it's just lessons that our body's trying to tell us that it's looking for help in whatever way that may be. So thank you for sharing that. Now, tell us about your life now and how has it changed from that traditional path that you went down?
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's like night and day, like a completely new world and a new chapter. There's no, I see the old way of being as a huge learning lesson. So I'm really grateful that I had went through it all. I picked up all these like knowledge. But now the way I can show up in life is truly in a way where I honor myself. I honor my body, my mind, my soul. So I don't feel like I have to force myself to fit into any sort of boundaries or systemic expectations. And I can really honor my time for healing and especially rest. Like rest was a huge thing that I did not know how to do. And I think the system loves that, especially working within these environments. It was like, the overachiever perfectionist, which is what I was, is exactly the kind of people it needs, right? Because you will just show up, you will give your absolute everything, but then you burn out. But really, they thrive on that because they just want you to put in as much work and as many hours in as you can. But yeah, it was such a night and day. Now I make sure like every morning I give space to myself to really settle in for the day, to set my intentions, to really be in a different frequency right from the start. I make sure if throughout the day something's coming up, that I take time away from myself to honor that. And I'm so fortunate to be able to do that. So since like stepping off the path of working for someone else and doing my own thing, I've been able to do that. And weirdly enough, it's at first, of course, when you, as like I said, it's like when the map ends, everything feels so scary because you're like, there's no safety blanket, right? It's, oh, working for someone or a system, and there's this like consistent paycheck. So it can feel very scary to step away from that and to just trust that things are going to work out. But doing that, the more and more I trust and the more and more I honor myself, weirdly, the more opportunities come my way. Or maybe not weirdly, that is how it actually is and how it should be, right? But it's just not many people get to experience it because they don't ever step beyond that safety blanket and beyond that comfort. But yeah, the reality is the more and more I give myself time to heal and process and I honor my needs, I nurture, things just aligned for me. Like work flourishes in ways I didn't expect, and it's a real beautiful journey. And it's a trajectory, right? It's like I'm right at the start of it all, and it's so exciting, and I'm just watching it unfold beautifully without this need or expectation to have everything done in the same moment, which is how I felt back then. I think I always had this mentality of everything needs to be done now. Whereas now I'm like, I'm just enjoying doing the one thing that I'm doing and the next thing that I'm doing. And I'm being a lot more present with myself, with the work, with the people I serve. And yeah, that's such a huge shift.
Mm. It is. And again, I'd like to honor you, especially for the word, what you said, being more present in today's world where we are inundated with so much the technology, the social media, all the demands of life, especially for people who have families, children, work from home, and all have a job, that being present is such a huge challenge and a big practice. And so many people have, I believe now we have a pandemic of multitasking
Mm.
actually causes so much stress.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Love to talk to you about this somatic manifestation.
Yeah.
And what does that actually mean? And why do you think so many people get stuck in the cycle of being frustrated when their manifestation efforts do not bring results?
Yeah. So I think first good thing to start with is what to me manifestation means in general. And like I think a lot of people have this idea that it's all about the future, right? And all about having something come to you and there's such pressure on that. Whereas to me, manifestation is about how you show up in the world now, because it's also about the present, right? It's about being able to appreciate everything you have in front of you whilst also holding a vision for an evolution, for something bigger. So yes, it's about having something creatively put out there and that coming into form, but it's also about really honoring whatever's going on now. And people get too stuck in the future. And again, so it's bringing it back to presence. It's really about being able to find and appreciate everything that is here right now. And even in my own journey, I think I found that I started to like manifest things, but as soon as they came to me, it's almost like I missed them because they weren't as big as what I wanted. And that was like my first sort of pitfall that I would recommend for other people to explore as well. It's like things might actually already be coming to you, but because we have this huge vision that is there, and that's lovely, right? We are heading there, but because people want it right now, they miss all the small things, all the small changes that are happening, and again, giving the space and honor to that, because that's what's going to get you on that trajectory further, right? It's like seeing the small things come in and being so grateful that it's already unfolding, and that's how the journey continues. Whereas people get super disappointed if it's not exactly how they wanted, or it's not big enough, or it's not exactly right time. But thing is, manifestation, it's magical. It's meant to be about magic and wonder. So again, even though we have this vision, and the vision is usually around our feelings, right? It's around how we want to feel. So sometimes it's not even like a concrete set thing of, for example, a specific house or a specific car. It's around how am I going to feel in that house, or how am I going to feel having this car? What opportunities does it give you? So it's all around the feelings. And magic unfolds in mysterious ways. And that's another thing where I think people take manifestation so in a set way rather than letting it be its own unfolding, rather than letting it be this creative process where you're co-creating with the universe, right? And you're letting it surprise you. You're letting it come in ways that maybe you didn't even expect, because actually that's way more fun. If I just sat there and wrote out, this is how it's happening, this is how it's happening, it's like I'm writing the script. But if it unfolds exactly as I planned, that's almost like it takes away the magic of what it is I'm going towards. So to me, it's really about stepping into the fun flow of letting it formulate in a way and enjoying the ride, enjoying the adventure. So yeah, that's why the whole manifestation thing. And to bring in the somatic element. So as I've discovered with my own healing, and this is like a huge trend at the moment, right? With like somatics and nervous system regulation. And I bring that into the manifestation aspect because actually, until our bodies can feel safe, we sometimes unconsciously don't allow things to come in. So even those positive emotions that we think we crave, like new opportunities and joy, those states of expandedness can actually feel unsafe for the body, because when the body is so used to certain frequencies, certain way of being, it's like comfort zone, right? So that chaos sometimes can feel like comfort. So to actually go beyond it can feel unsafe. So therefore, when people try to manifest something which is new or exciting, and they mentally think that they can handle it or that's what they're ready for, their body isn't quite ready for it. So that's why the somatic part, because to me, step one is regulating the nervous system and getting to know your body, getting to know where you're at, building the capacity to experience joy, building the capacity to experience these new opportunities, new situations step by step. Because as we do that, the more we're able to manifest what we really envision for ourselves. So yeah, that's why I've called it that, more like somatic manifestation, because to me that is like the building blocks that then everything else goes up on.
And it makes so much sense. So thank you for sharing that, because it's really true. So many people are into manifestation, the law of attraction. I'm going to manifest this and this, whatever it may be. But yet they live a very hectic lifestyle that their body has got used to. So even if you try and calm down just for once, I'm going to experience joy in my life now, going to be really happy now. But the body goes, yeah, no, we're used to rushing around doing this, being stressed out. So it's going back and starting from the beginning, and definitely starting with our nervous system.
Yeah, if you want to manifest that beach retirement house for yourself, say even now, you've got to learn to be able to rest and enjoy the peace and quiet first. Whereas if you're loving and you're craving environments that are constantly giving you stimulation and constantly taking your mind out of that space, then again, your body's going to just reject it. So it's, even though the idea sounds great, it's not going to manifest because actually internally you're craving something completely different. So, a huge reflection point for anyone who, whatever you're thinking about, first think, how far apart are you in terms of, can you picture yourself being in that? Like realistically, like where are you now? What environments do you find yourself at? What environments do you want to go at? And you, as your whole being, through the body, nervous system, mind, soul, how far away are you from that person? Because again, with manifestation, it's really about becoming that person. And that's how we get what we want. We literally step into the version of us that is living that reality, that is able to manifest that. So we first need to identify, where are we, so we can position it, and then we know what alterations we need to go through, what growth patterns, what evolutions within ourselves we need to go through to get to that version of ourselves.
Yes, and again, it makes so much sense. Rather than trying always going out there, I want that dream house, wherever it is, and to bringing it there to actually living the lifestyle of being in that dream house
Yeah.
and bringing your body into that reality first.
Yeah. So it's all back to the inner work, all back to the healing, the wellness, and just all about you. That's all manifestation is. It's not out there, it's all about us and our core. self. But I would like to add here as well, I think, again, with my own personal journey, I think when I first really delved into this whole like more holistic wellness space and healing, I came from this space of constantly needing to fix something else. And then this is not quite right. I need to work on this part of me and this. And I realized recently actually that this is yet another part of me that's being perfectionist, that's like now disguising itself as a healing aspect that's constantly pushing me more and more. So that's another thing I would really like to share and for people to have a reflection upon is, do you see healing as something to fix yourself, or is it about evolution? Because again, to me, and I think I've seen this a lot more now, healing is about evolving into your most truthful, authentic, best version. So it's not that you're broken, it's just that you're evolving further into a new chapter, into a new you. So it's about taking away that mindset of I'm broken, I need to fix myself, because that just creates more constant perfectionistic thoughts and constant pressure, but really relaxing and letting yourself surrender to the process, knowing that you are already whole. You're just gradually becoming that more authentic, inner aligned version that you already are. You're just remembering that part of yourself.
Which is something very nice to do.
Yeah.
And I heard someone else say, so again, so many people are all about healing ourselves, where if we just become in the present, in that present moment, and as you're saying, really connect with our body and ourselves in this moment now, then the healing takes care of itself. The past healing takes care of itself, yes.
Yeah. And it's also about enjoying it. I think, again, for me as well, I always use my own experiences, right, whenever I talk about this, because I think a lot of people can relate. It felt like such a pressured thing of getting it right, or seeing healing as this like strict thing of I've got to do this and I've got to spend this many hours and this many hours. And again, I forgot to just relax and enjoy the process, because healing is about exploring yourself. It's about reflection, about connecting with those parts of you, those deeper journeys. And that's enjoyable, that's exciting. It gives you this state of expandedness, right? And sometimes it can be a lot because a lot of things are coming up, but yet it's still enjoying that process of no matter what's coming up, it's really knowing that whatever's unfolding is how it's meant, not putting so much pressure on the specifics or following set things too much, because again, that just takes us into those like perfectionistic patterns.
And we're talking about somatic practices. So what's one simple practice that someone can try today to start aligning with their body and their manifestations?
Yeah, so my absolute go-to is a very simple breath work. So I feel like this works super great for grounding, for connecting you to your body, for really having that presence. So it's to breathe in through the nose for a count of 4 and breathe out through the mouth for a count of 8, and repeating this at least 4 times. If you have a few minutes, do it for a few minutes. If you have 5, 10 minutes, do it for that long. But honestly, even if you just do it for 4 rounds, and that's, I don't know, 20 seconds, if that is already creating a shift within yourself, because it's sending that signal to your nervous system that we are safe. So we are already regulating. And what I will also say as well, it's best to do this when you're not in overwhelm, because when you are in overwhelm or going through this, it's very hard to remember these practices, right? It's very hard to think, oh, what should I do right now? Because you just end up going with your usual coping strategies. So in order to build up that muscle, as they say, do this when you're feeling good, or when you just remember to do it, or first thing when you wake up. So start already adding a practice in when you are feeling okay, or grounded, or happy. So then when you are feeling overwhelmed or you need a little bit of support or grounding, you can then use that tool, because it already be like that muscle that you built in. So to me, this is like the one I go to for myself. But there are so many small somatic practices like that. And what I also recommend is that people try a couple and just see what lands for them best. So for me, I love connecting with the breath and my body through that way. When I do that breathing, I also like to put one hand on my heart, one hand on my belly, to really feel my body as well breathing, like physically feeling that breath and the flow. Other ones as well involve, for example, humming. So a lot of people connect with their vocal cords to regulate a lot. So if you're using some humming, that works really well. And yeah, honestly, there are so many tools out there. So I just recommend people having a go at several and just seeing what lands the best for them. And everyone tends to find the one that is their go-to, right?
Yes, they do. And of course, all those tools. So for anyone who is watching or listening to our podcast, do reach out to Daria if you want to know more about the tools that can help us just to regulate our systems. So if someone is in the midst of overwhelm, they've got so much to do. Do you have any practices to recommend that right there and then they can just stop to get them out of the overwhelm so they can then come back to their breathing and
Yeah.
manifestation in their life?
Yeah, so a really great one as well, it's to anchor into your environment. So what I would say is just take a moment to remember to anchor. So that's the first step is to, you're having overwhelm, say to yourself, I need to anchor. So then you come into the space you are in and you do a gentle glance all around the room, starting from one side, going all the way around, and making sure to also look behind you, taking stock of everything that's in your environment. And what this does is signals to the nervous system of, okay, this is where I'm at right now in this present moment. Right now, I am safe. And the reason we also want to look behind us is the animal body of us, right? The animal aspect loves to see that there's no threat behind us. So when those, like all these tasks or these to-do lists feel threatening and our system literally picks that up as like a danger, right? We can actually anchor it back into the present environment where we're in and let it know that there is no physical danger around us right now. So that's a really good, quick one where we are consciously taking stock of where we're at. And then from that space, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to remember, okay, let me try some breath work. Let me try those 4 breaths in through the nose, 8 through the mouth out, and doing a couple of those. And then maybe shifting your shoulders, like rolling your shoulders a little bit, giving your neck a little stretch, putting your hands on your body and really feeling the groundedness of your body, feeling your body physically here. And again, reminding within yourself right now, I am here, I am safe, and those tasks are a separate thing to me, to my physical being. So, yeah, hopefully that's helpful for people.
It is very much, and I've heard that before, especially the danger part. You know,
Mm.
even if we're working in offices and computers and everything else, that there is that flight or fight response still in the body, that danger. And I like it how you explain when we are overwhelmed, the body can experience that as danger with
Yeah,
things that we're trying
yeah.
to accomplish. So it's just
What,
a few moments out to say that there is
yeah.
danger, that we
And
are.
what I'd really recommend as well for people, for anyone who is definitely having this association with constantly getting overwhelmed and stressed from the work and the constant stimulations, right? Even maybe like constant emails or messages is, and again, I know this from myself, like back in the day, I would receive like an email or something and I would instantly be like, I need to respond right now. Oh my God, crisis going on. I need to respond straight away. I need to like figure out. And then I would be in this fight or flight because I'm like, oh my God, a situation is happening. So what I would actually recommend for people to try and start to do is to rather than to respond straight away, to actually giving yourself space to put it aside, even for 30 seconds, even for a minute, then maybe 10 minutes, and to giving yourself that space and that room to say, actually, the world's not going to end if I don't respond right in this second. And this is building our capacity to, again, not become stimulus as stimulus as something that we have to respond to straight away, but rather than, okay, something's coming in. I will need to deal with this, but it's okay. Like I will. I don't need to go into this instant mode of like right now it needs to happen. So where possible, it's to really build the capacity to not respond to stimulus straight away. Because then again, we're building these neural networks in our brain, we're rewiring, right? We're telling our brain that we don't need, this doesn't need to be like a red flag. It can just be a mildly orange one that we put there and we attend to in a little bit, right?
Yes, a lot of people have this feeling that the world will end if I don't do it now.
Yeah.
It's changing that and saying, no, it's okay just to breathe for a few minutes. It's okay to get up off the computer and go for a walk in nature before coming back and dealing with whatever it is, those emails or whatever that we think has to be done now. But yes,
Yeah.
thank
And again, from personal experience, I can tell anyone I was that person. Now I'll get these emails and those notifications. They barely even affect me. I'm like, they come in, they're there, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take a look at that when I'm in the right space to do it, when I have the time. And it's not this like ping of this overwhelm or this instant fight or flight energy where it's, oh my God, this like the adrenaline literally kicking in, right? So these stimulations no longer affect my literal hormones or my literal adrenaline levels, which means my day to day is more regulated, right? It means I'm not so like constantly thrown into these waves of adrenaline, which have a huge effect on our physical health as well as mental health. So it means we're already like more in balance.
Thank you so much for sharing. And it shows that there is hope for everyone out there who is involved, completely overwhelmed, consumed
Mhm.
by the overwhelm, by the multitasking, by all the to-doing list, the pandemic of the to-dos, the human doings. There is help because Daria is the shining example of it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, I think there's so many examples, not just me. There's more and more. The more I do this work and I'm joining all these wonderful communities like yours, the more and more people I see who are on that path and who are able to show up in life with just so much more balance, so much more presence and joy and capacity to just be themselves in a much more just calm, flowy nature rather than this constant chaotic waves.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. And Daria, if you could whisper just one message to every person out there who's feeling stuck in their life and in their manifestation journey, what would that be?
I would say that it's okay. It's totally normal to feel stuck because that's just the journey you've been on so far. But it's all up to you. Like it's all up to you to shift that and change that. And it's just whether you want to step outside of it and you want to go on this wonderful, magical journey of inner discovery and magical journey of manifestation, then it's possible. It's possible for everyone. So just because you feel stuck now or in the past doesn't mean that's what your future has to look. And I'm an example, many other people are an example. So it's just, there is absolutely hope for everyone.
Thank you. And again, check out the links below and connect to Daria because I think you are an example. And yes, so true. There are many others. But right now you're here, and I want to again honor you for coming on the pathways to well-being because it is, you can see how your life has changed. You're radiating that it is possible to regulate your life, to regulate your body, and to live a life of magic. And I know you said the map ends with your previous career, your previous life, but I feel that you've got a whole new map and you're on a whole new journey that you got out of that one, and now you're going on a journey of magic. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a journey that's not written for me, right? The previous journey was written for me. That's like the whole map thing, right? It was written out in clear ink of this is what you do, this is what you follow. Whereas the journey I'm on now, I don't need a map. I have my own intuitive guidance system. And that's the beauty of it. And yes, it's unknown and who knows what's gonna happen, how it's gonna fold, but it is mine, it's my own, it's my truth, and it's wonderful in its own way. And everyone can have that too. Like everyone can get off that written map and create their own.
Yeah, their own journey and their own magic. And I'd love to know, Dari, just quickly, what's your go-to practice when you feel out of alignment? Is it that breath session, the 4 in and the 8 out, or do you have any other go-to practices when you're out of alignment?
Yeah, so a big one for me, as well as the breath, is somatic shaking. So it's consciously feeling into any parts of the body that need that release to complete the cycle of adrenaline, right? So it's to discharge any energy. Because for me, my typical go-to would be that sort of like adrenaline-based state. That's the one I really love. So for anyone who also gets those stress jitters, that's a really great one. So it's literally tuning into parts of your body and shaking it out. So like consciously shaking out that energy, letting it move, letting it flow through. And then you can also add the breath work in as well to then bring yourself back into that grounded regulation.
Yeah, to actually get up and move and
Yeah,
shake it out. I do that all the time too, and it makes so much difference. So much difference.
really.
So wherever you are, whether you're on a computer all day or anything, especially when you start to feel that little bit of stress coming in, shake it out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and make it fun. Put on a favorite track if you can. Flow with it. Make it part of the joyful experience of the day. So even though it's something that's maybe overwhelming or stressful, let's transmute that energy into a piece where it feels like you're actually connecting with yourself and it's joyful and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to have fun in your life. Thank you. Thank you, Daria. It's been an honor to chat to you today. But before we go, is there any other question that I could have asked you? And how would have you answered? Is there anything else that you would like to share, especially about your actual business? You know, that you're a guide and you bring magic into people's lives. Is there anything?
Yeah, I guess I'd love to share the spiritual aspect too, right? Because I also think that's really important. What I found through this work of connecting back with the body, which then also connects you to the inner parts and the mind, is actually for me, the more I tuned into it, the more my spirituality came in and more again I will bring in the magic the more my intuitive channels opened, so I was able to also access abilities that I didn't even know I had before. So I'm actually also an Akashic Records reader, right? And this is something that only opened up after I started doing this body work, because again, when we are more regulated, our body feels safe, all our channels are like in alignment, we might discover gifts that we didn't even know were there. And it's such a wonderful thing to see. So, if anything, I would really encourage people to do this journey also for the gifts that you might unlock within yourself. Because coming back to that wisdom, wow, like you may find things that might shock you, that will shock the people that know you, and you can embrace these abilities that are just so wonderful. So yeah, that's also been a huge part of my journey that I would love to encourage people to also explore their own and see what comes up for them.
Exactly, when you take that time out from being in the head and getting in touch, connecting with your body and all those abilities, then anything can happen.
Yeah,
But when we're too much running around doing, then we block off all those abilities. Thank you
yeah.
ever so much. And again, for anyone who is watching, do click on the links below and reach out to Daria. Thank you ever so much, Daria. We will be putting all your links below. It's been an honor to chat with you. I definitely want to know more. I'm going to be following you and checking out your website, because you are a shining example of
Thank
how
you.
much we can take control of our lives and change it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor. It's always a blessing to be able to share my journey and wisdom with whoever needs to hear it. So thank you for holding space for this to happen.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today for our conversation with Daria, who showed us how manifestation becomes so much more powerful when we bring the body on board. Please do click on the links below to find out more on everything that Daria has to offer. And for more empowering conversations, tools, and strategies, do follow Sacred You on all our social media, or visit our website at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U, .love. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button or give us a like so that you never miss another episode. Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. Stay grounded, stay inspired, stay connected, and until next time, keep walking your pathway to well-being.